If we don't get these 3 things right this week, then we are screwed. So this week is huge. We've got a lot going on, but there's 3 core things that I'm going to be working on this week that if I can't get them done by Friday, then we don't have a business anymore. So problem number 1 is we've got a major product development that is halfway through. Basically, we're completely redoing the UI. The reason being is it's not very user-friendly right now. You just land in a builder and have no fucking idea what you're doing. So I've taken on some advice and we're completely redoing that. I'm halfway through. But if that's not done by Friday, then it's not in a position to sell. The reason that's such a big problem is on Wednesday, we have our Loxo Co-Marketing launch that's going ahead. That needs to be a success. We need to see people coming through as inbound leads, booking meetings that use Loxo and want a better website and a better marketing platform. Because if that doesn't happen, then quite frankly, like 90% of our financial projections just go to shit. And then the third piece is we've got 2 big meetings this week on the investment front. One is with the CTO that we're looking to bring on a fractional basis. And the other is with a CFO that's going to help us get the investment. Now, I need to close them at an equity-only deal. That deal needs to sit at, I've had a proposal and I want to trim it down. They need to be lower than they've come in at, and it needs to be vested properly. What that kind of means is I have to give up some of my company because we don't have cash to bring these people on. We need to bring these people on, or we don't have a business in probably 3 weeks. So this is a big week, and if things don't go right, we are fully screwed. Okay, so here's part 1, the UI redesign. So currently, this is how things look. It's blocky. You get in here, and then you have to click through things, and it's a real mess. It's really difficult to find out where anything is, or to actually use anything that's half decent, as you can see. It just looks, it's not very friendly. It's really unapproachable. So here is the new one. So we're skipping a bunch of stuff, but basically I can just type in a website that I want to type in. It's going to pull a bunch of detail, and then it's going to go through a page by page build. This one is built in one shot, and then we have to go through every single page and edit manually the changes, which is time consuming. It takes actually quite a long time. This, however, is a lot easier. It's a lot nicer, but you're going to see the problem. And this is the big problem that we need to fix this week, because otherwise there's no point. We have no business. Nobody's going to buy the first one. Lots of people are going to buy this one, hopefully. So this is just in the staging environment. So I've had to build a staging environment. I've had to build a bunch more back office engineering stack kind of stuff off the advice of the CTO that we've got to try and work through what good should look like. I'm basically just going to whiz you through this super quick. I don't want to take too long because you're going to see the issues on day one. Day one? Button click 1. Okay. We've crawled the site, we've pulled the logos, services, testimonials, stats, all that stuff. These are the default pages, really, nothing special. Now we're going to do some sector research, which we did anyway. If you go back on some of our older videos, you'll see the old flow, the old onboarding flow, which I liked it, but it just took a long time and you just sat there. It was good for demos because it gave me plenty of time to just chat to people. But for building a site, nah, not the best. This will probably take about 90 seconds, something like that. But what we're trying to do, the whole ambition is, rather than building everything in one shot, here's your website, change everything that you want to change. It's, okay, we're going to do this step by step. Here's page 1, here's page 2, here's page 3. Make the changes as you want, as you go. And then afterwards, you'll still get the same editability, but without having to go through and do all of it at scale, which we had to do previously. But it's causing problems, and here's why. So problem number one is our whole site generation build was designed around the previous one. We take the relevant context, we plug it all into the AI models that have been purpose built, and then we build your site, embed your site. And then after that, it's a manual job of do what you need to do. It's not designed for page by page. And if you go on here, look, okay, sector research outline failed. We've got garbage. That is not a usable website. So if I make a change on page one, because say I want it all as white, it's going to carry that over to page two, because then we haven't got to keep making the changes and all that stuff. But page one fucking sucks. So now page two is going to suck. And so is page three and all of it. That is the main issue. Now, if I just skip through here and just go, okay, yeah, I'm going to publish it, we're going to land here. So versus this, I think this is a little bit better today, but this has got much more potential because all the site stuff is just in one place. This is massively changing because it looks hideous. And this builder is going to be stripped down. So we've got basically a site structure panel here, and then a section-based panel here, because at the minute, if I click here, I have to go into this, and I've got all these different toggles, and it's a real hassle to figure out what you're doing. So we're cleaning all that up. On this nav panel, we've got branding that I've just showed you, traffic engine, intelligence, analytics, outcomes, SEO, and connections, help and support, settings, and a view live site button. Bunch of stuff. We've also up here is where you go to publish the site. Here is more settings. Here's notifications that don't do anything. And here is more help. So it's a real mess. We're cleaning all this up. So here's your site. Here's how you grow your site. SEO and AEO. Analytics, traffic, outcomes, signals. So this is the intelligence stuff. That's really clever. We can build this out into multi-page stuff. Settings, help. Simple. But whilst it still builds a shit website, it's useless. So that's problem one. Problem two is the Loxo Co-Marketing thing. So we've got a bunch of marketing campaigns that are running right now. Let me just show you this ever so quickly. Probably loading a little bit slow today. So this is LinkedIn ads campaigns. And as you can see, we've spent nearly $200 and got 0 leads. Some decent engagement and click-throughs and stuff like that, but we have had effectively nothing to quantify the spend so far. We have a budget of $500, so we've nearly burnt it out, and we've got nothing. So the LinkedIn co-marketing campaign, the Loxo co-marketing campaign, needs to match that, and then drastically improve the performance of our ads so we can retarget. The other piece is within our HubSpot. So we have, again, a marketing campaign going out, which is this one. Emails, okay, 130 sends, 1 click, 15 opens. That is really bad. Not good. The forms, so that is one person's actually gone, 3 views have gone onto the form and done nothing with it. The landing page, same again. I don't know what that is. And that is just miserable. Traffic, views free. Wow. Terrific. I've spent nearly $2,000 on getting all this marketing set up, and we've made no money. So the Loxo co-marketing thing, where we're playing on their brand rather than having to focus on ours, is the next huge thing that we need to get right. And then thirdly and finally, so I've been talking to this guy about coming on board as a CTO for a little while. It's going to be fractional, which means he does a couple of days a week or something like that, because we don't have a budget for a full-time one. But the whole point is, for us to get investment, we need to have more credibility on the leadership team, and he brings that. The problem is he wants 15% equity. I'm not giving up 15% of the business for someone to work a couple of days a week for the next 6 months. We've got a meeting later this week that will basically be a conversation around, okay, so he's got a friend who's a CFO and can actually help us get the investment and drive things through. And between the two of them, they're looking at 7.5% each, which takes us to the 15. It'll probably split their time a bit, but it gets us 2 really respected and valuable senior members of the team on board right on time for us to start taking our pitch deck to market. Problem is, I don't want to give up 15% still. I want to give up 10. So I've got to persuade both of them to come down by 2.5%. And the way we do that is probably through vesting. Now, what vest is, if somebody gives you shares or equity, you don't just get it. You'll get some, but then the rest is earned over time by hitting certain metrics. So in this case, I'm thinking maybe give them a percent each to get the ball rolling, give them an extra 2.5 on successful investment, and then the rest on the follow-up investment. But I think that is what I want to do. They're probably not going to want to do that because they're going to be working for free for a while, which is why it's a bit of a trade-off, and I'm going to have to give up some of my company. What that means in practice is if the company's valued at $1 million on the first round, I've basically given away 150K. Not to mention, I have to give away a proportion on the round. So my 100% of the business could very quickly drop to 70%, which means if the business is worth $1 million, my value of it is only 700K. At 10 million, that's 7 mil. I'm losing out 3 mil. So you have to future-proof these things. You can't just make the decision today and worry about it later, like a lot of founders do. I'll catch up with you a little bit later on as we evolve and go through some of these pieces, probably before and afters of a call, stuff like that, as well as a couple of progress updates on the UI and the Loxo Co-Marketing. And that'll probably do for today. See you soon.
What the fuck is happening? So, it's been a fun week. The Loxo Co-Marketing stuff went out, which is good. We've got a bunch of impressions on that. I've had about 50,000 competitors all staring at my post now because Loxo are quite fussy about who they integrate with. And they were shouting about us from the hills. And we've got a few clicks, few engagements on some of our marketing posts, a few other bits and bobs that are positive, not amazing, if I'm honest, but getting there. So, the Loxo Co-Marketing stuff, they basically threw a post on LinkedIn. I don't know the impressions count. I can't see it, but they got 22 likes and a bunch of comments. We ended a post, and that was, I've actually paid to sponsor it now, so it's boosted. I think 7,000 people have seen it. So it's gone quite well so far. There's still time. There's no clicks. There's no leads. Plenty of opportunity still. We did get a couple of messages from potential prospects. One is in France, so I've got to record a video, send it in French to them to show them how it works, which is bonjour, je m'appelle Ayrton. That's about all I know, so I don't know any French. So I've got to do that. And yeah, the CFO CTO meeting, so that's the CTO sound. The CFO I've not really heard much from, so that's fucking infuriating actually, because I thought we'd be done and moving on with that, but we're not. But I get it. There's a lot to decide. You can't just click their fingers and have the answers that they need, but that's how the pace I like to work at. So the financial stuff. So basically what we've done is we've added a new pricing tier. We have shifted the way that we manage our pricing. We've got a cheaper option at the bottom so that people can just get a website really quick and cheap, which is fun. We don't need to charge a load of money for that. It doesn't cost us much. But then we're just going to lay out everything on top. Okay, if you want this, you got to pay this. Probably even modularize it so you can add modules to go down that route. But what that does is it gives people a bit more of an entry level access to just get a website, and then we can start expanding from there. Yeah, I think that's kind of it. So it's been a really fucking long week. There's been a lot that's happened. Of the 3 things that we needed to achieve, so start of the week, build a UI. Yeah, we did all right, actually. So it's nearly ready. A couple of bugs to work through, but the actual design work is done. The hard part is done. We just need to clean it up, get it to be as stable as we need it to be. Boom. Job's a good one. Now I've got to add in some extra API keys as well that are routed to a production site. So that's going through. That's nearly done. The CFO, CTO thing. So CTO is great. That's golden. We've dropped on quite lucky there. But the CFO piece is, yeah, I've got question marks. So from a financial perspective, luckily I had a big recruitment invoice land. So we've got a little bit more runway. I've got a couple more roles as well to work. So that might help with a bit more runway. But we need to get this investment piece fucking moving. So yeah, if that's not closed out this week, I'm moving on. I'm finding somebody else because it's not going to be for me. And oh, dude, I can't even remember what the fucking thing was. What did we start with? Ah, the Loxo stuff. Yes, it's not gone bad. So I'm hoping to start to see a couple of leads trickle through. We've built a bit of an outbound pipeline to target Loxo users. So that is happening all the time. On top of it, I've had another meeting this morning with somebody who is on the board of a group of about 40 or so agencies, 36, I think. And some of them will use Loxo, some Firefish, some whoever. So that's progressing. But yeah, I'll probably start some more videos next week. We've survived another week. We've got some cool shit happening this week. But actually, the cooler shit will probably be next week. So I'll catch up with you a little bit later. Bye.